Hey everybody, welcome back to my Project 13. It is warm outside. I'm going to turn on a little bit my air conditioning. I don't know how warm it is, but just got off of work on my way home. Tomorrow is Easter. And whatever you do to celebrate Easter tomorrow, just be safe and have fun. I'm going to give you a few reasons in why you may not consider the LG G6. You're always going to have your top 5 reasons, maybe your top 10 reasons on why you should consider a device. And from time to time, there are videos released on why you may not. So I'm going to step outside of myself and knowing that I really like this device. Hey, I don't love it, but I really like it, and I'm super stoked I brought it in. So anything I say is not going to disregard anything I say in the final review about the LG G6. But I got to understand that there's some out there who aren't going to pick up this device for one reason or the other, the LG G6. Number one being, well, it didn't have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835. It has the 821. A lot of you thought that it should have had the 835, especially a device being released in 2017. And I understand that. It's a good argument. And again, that's stepping outside of myself because I really want to support it and say, well, you wouldn't probably tell the difference. But I haven't had anything with an 835 in it, so we'll find out when that moment happens, especially when I bring in the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. We'll see what that chipset is like up against anything with an 821. So, yeah, I understand. The other thing is, if you are an LG fan and you've had the LG V20, you know that there's a couple areas on that device that makes it a content creator device. There's a few areas on there that really help me in creating videos. I am using the LG V20 right now to shoot this video, and you see that we have this multi-view feature going on where you can have 2 windows, 3 windows, even 4 windows, a quad window feature. And I really dig this feature, especially when I'm vlogging. The LG G6 does not have that. Is it a big deal breaker for me? No, but if you are someone that uses a lot of video and you're creating content, that may be one of those deals, especially since you can pick up the LG V20 for a lot cheaper right now. And maybe if you're just going for one device and you're into creating content, that may be the device to go for instead of the LG G6. Okay, now another thing that the LG G6 does not have that the LG V20 has, and this is for a lot of you who are into LG devices, is in the manual video settings. There are audio settings to help you create better audio manually when recording video, whether from the front or the back. The LG V20 has a specific different type of setting where actually it allows you, if you're recording from the front, it allows you to set the audio to pick up what's only coming from the front, and you can set a level of that to only really pick up the front, or even midway to pick up a little bit from the side. So the mics will work in how you set this function up in that specific setting. The LG G6 doesn't have that. So if you're recording from the rear, you can have it just pick up what's coming from the rear. And again, you have different levels of ranges in doing so, in doing that. So it filters out any surrounding noise. It only picks up what's coming from the back of the device or from the front of the device at a certain level of range that you set that setting at. The LG G6 does not have that specific setting that the LG V20 has. Again, for you content creators. And I may edit in a picture of what I'm talking about in that specific setting. I really like that, especially if you're not using a mic and you're outside and there's a lot of road noise, there's wind. you actually have a wind filter as well, so you can actually turn that on so it can, if it's windy or it's really noisy, it will filter a lot of that out. But again, that directional setting, that function that picks up from the front or the back within a certain area of level range that you set that at, that really helps to even make that audio, especially if you're outdoors, a lot better for you as a content creator and what you're trying to create for the viewer. I love having that on the LG V20, especially since I don't always use a mic. I have a mic at home, but I don't like using it. I really just like to either talk a little louder, which I just do all the time anyway. I had a viewer ask me why I'm yelling. It's not that I'm yelling. I normally talk this way. I work in a meat room where there's a lot of machinery and it's hard to hear each other, so I'm constantly doing that. So it's just part of what I normally do. So I have to start utilizing the mic. I understand that. The LG V20 and the LG G6 are two devices that really work well when it comes to the mics. Okay. The other thing is, for you phablet lovers, and I love big devices like my Nexus 6. I remember having the Sony Xperia XA Ultra. Man, that was a wonderful, wonderful device. 6 inches. It was huge. It was huge. Some good bezels up top and bottom. The LG Flex, the original. Nice Flex, nice and big. Not like the Flex 2. It was a lot smaller. But I like phablets. I love the early Note 2. I love the fact that they've taken a 5.7-inch display and housed it in this tiny body. It's really cool. But as much as I love that, it's still, to me, when I have the Nexus 6 in my hand and I'm looking at that big device, it just feels that much more like there's something really there when looking into that 6-inch display. I don't know if that really makes sense to you. Phablets are phablets, and they were always big, and they still make phablets, right? We got the ZTE ZMAX Pro. This Sony line, they have the Sony, boy, I can't even remember the Ultra that I just recently have. Can't even remember the name at the top of my head. Oh well, but you know what I'm talking about. 6-inch device, a big device. So again, the main thing I'm trying to get across here, before I go on for 30 minutes on trying to describe what I'm trying to describe, is the fact that in our minds, when we have a phablet device in our hand, it should be huge. It shouldn't be that tiny. And we're looking at this device and we're amazed at what they can do now with devices. And that's going to be on the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus as well. But we'd rather have a bigger device and feel like, hey, there's something substantial there. Okay, the girth of it. Does that make sense? So, and maybe that's a turnoff for you. Maybe that's not something you want. Maybe you want that bigger device. Maybe you miss that bigger device in your hand. $650. Some of you feel that at $650, even though that is a low price point for a flagship, even though some of you don't want to call it a flagship because it's missing some areas that it could be, like the 835. Maybe it doesn't have the dual speakers. Maybe it didn't come with the 32-bit DAC audio DAC. Maybe it didn't have the 64 gigs. It only has the 32 in the United States. That 32-bit audio DAC and the 64 gigs of internal storage, that's in the Asian market. It's not even here. Korea and other Asian markets. Most likely bring it in. So those are areas that we're thinking, well, why did they get that? Why didn't we get that? Why did it have dual speakers? Why does it have a single speaker? So maybe it should have been priced at no more than $600 like the Huawei Mate 9 that gives you dual speakers. It is that's another big device right there. That's a phablet. It feels like a phablet, right? beautiful display too. But there's a give and take on the Huawei Mate 9, just to throw that out there. So maybe some of you thought, hey, I'm getting way more with my Huawei Mate 9 for $599 than I am at $650, because a lot of us really don't care if the device is IP68 certified water resistant. Some of us don't care if wireless charging on it. You'd rather give that up. And if you're getting a little less in specs, you're not getting dual speakers, you got a chipset that was last year's chipset, even though that was only a few months ago, you're thinking, no, it shouldn't have been priced any more than $599, $600. So that's why I feel those are just some areas that I feel that some of you may not want to pick up the LG G6. When it comes to just having one or two devices as your daily drivers or backup, and you're not getting any more than that, like me, who reviews devices, and I'm going to have multiple devices all year long. But if I was the average consumer, as most of you are, then maybe with everything that I just mentioned and talked about, maybe that's enough reason to not pick up the LG G6. Maybe that's more reason to pick up the LG V20 or something like the Huawei Mate 9 or the Sony Xperia XA Ultra. There we go. Or even a Nexus 6 that you can pick up for a couple $100, or a Huawei Nexus 6P. But I understand that's the way it goes, and that's the way some of you may think. If there's any other areas that I'm missing, that is good reason why you wouldn't want to pick up the LG G6, even though I still say it's a device to be considered, and I will talk more about that on my final review. Leave that down below. Let me know. I'm just vlogging. I'm just having a conversation. I didn't call it a top 4, top 5, or top 10. I just said I had a few things to talk about and why I feel some of you may not consider that device. There you go. Peace. I'm out. God bless. Have a safe Easter. God bless.